It's called the Blitz, and it can be just as ferocious as the name suggests. Welcome to the World Blitz Chess Championship in St. John, New Brunswick. About 400 people tried to qualify for the championship during the month-long World Chess Festival. It came down to 32 players qualifying for the first round of play. The lineup for the first round includes the world champion, Garry Kasparov, the man he defeated for that title, Anatoly Karpov, the former world champion, Mikhail Tal, U.S. Grandmaster, Yasser Seirawan, and the Canadian Grandmaster, Kevin Spraggett. The people to watch, Maxim Dlugy and Kirill Georgiev. In the first round of play, it's the best of 4 games with a sudden death playoff in case of a draw. For the first and second round, we'll show you the overall standings and who progresses. In the quarter and semifinals, we'll show you highlights of the games with play-by-play from analysts Raymond Keane and Yasser Seirawan. We'll be right back with the World Blitz Chess Championship.
Let's first of all establish the ground rules. There are different rules for Blitz chess as opposed to chess.
Right, tournament chess.
What's the most significant difference?
The most significant differences between Blitz and tournament chess revolve around the clock. In Blitz chess, I get 5 minutes for the entire game, as you get 5 minutes for the entire game. We don't record the moves. After all, the game moves are
fast,
going instantaneously. As my flag begins to rise, it becomes increasingly obvious that I'm in time pressure. During these periods of time, things are flying and anything can happen. I could have a winning position and suddenly it rebounds against me. I blunder terribly under the threat of time forfeiture. When my flag falls, I lose the game. In tournament chess, regardless of the position, I lose. But in Blitz chess, my opponent must be able to demonstrate that he has enough material, enough force left on the board that he could give me checkmate. So in other words, if I'm able to wipe out my opponent's entire army, then I don't lose on time. The game would be a draw.
Day 2, the quarterfinal. It's Vaganian against Wilder. Tal meets Yusupov. Kasparov is playing Georgiev, and Elvest is playing Chernian. Again, it's the best of 4 games. The first match is played, Tal and Yusupov, and Vaganian and Wilder.
What's going on here? There's some breakthrough occurring. Oh, hang on, has he queened the pawn?
Yes, he has. Michael.
Yes, he's blundered.
Yes. Vaganian is easily winning now.
Playing with both hands there. Yes, he's won a bishop.
Yes.
There he goes, yes. He can't do anything here. Yes, sudden denouement. Black can, of course, resign. White possibly not playing this the most accurate way, technically.
One does have that impression, doesn't it?
No, he's got the right idea. And there's the clocks banging away, but I don't think anyone's in serious danger of losing on time here.
It doesn't look it. Looks like Vaganian, in fact, will win quite easily at this point.
Yes, and the black pawn on A2 isn't really going anywhere. The only problem here is that somebody might would stay at mode and resign.
In the first games, Vaganian and Tal both win. Again, analysts Raymond Keane and Yasser Seirawan pick up the match in the second games.
Well, Yasser, here we are in the second round. Michael Wilder playing white against the Soviet Grandmaster Vaganian. It's been a Benko gambit.
Righto.
Vaganian taking the fight straight to his opponent. And the other game between Yusupov and Tal, much more slow opening, sort of collie system. Something that Yusupov favours as white. And Wilder and Vaganian moving at a great rate and banging the opening out. Do you know this opening at all?
Yes, this is actually the young lions in the United States. They play the Benko gambit quite frequently amongst themselves. Wilder is a great expert in this variation, and I suspect that Vaganian, unbeknownst to himself, has made a very poor choice. Michael has simply accepted the gambit pawn and is now seeking to get a positional grip as well.
He's trying to blow black's position up, actually, isn't he? I mean, white's first of all a pawn up, but that perhaps isn't the most important thing in the position. what's important is that white's trying to blast black to shreds on the king side in this position.
Yes.
He has a small problem here with his pawn on e4.
I'm not so sure that Michael's last move, bishop g5, was the most
Queen h4 is good because
crisp.
he defends the pawn sideways. He threatens bishop e7, which
Right.
causes all sorts of difficult problems. And it almost wins black's knight, it almost wins black's rook. And if the rook goes up the f-file, it almost wins black's queen after bishop d8.
Yes.
A whole series of problems. And also, he's got ideas like knight from e2 to f4 and bishop h6. So he could be on the point of unleashing a terrible storm right around the black king.
Yes.
You know Wilder well, he's an American. Where does he come from?
He hails from New York City. He's a Yale graduate, one of the youngest American master ever. In fact, he eclipsed Bobby Fischer's record and has always held tremendous promise in the U.S. We really have great respect and admiration for Michael's ability. Unfortunately, it appears as if he's going to be making a career in law.
Let's switch to Yusupov Tal. This has become more exciting now. It's opened up. Yusupov has been offering a sacrifice of a knight on g5 for some time.
Yes.
And Tal very reluctant to take it.
This is very standard Yusupov play. I've seen him just simply crush an enormous number of very strong grandmasters with this very slow build-up.
Yusupov's taken back on f4 with the rook. Black knight's gone to e5, blocking the diagonal, and white's moved the other rook over to the f-file. So he has a mighty concentration of force around the black king.
Yes.
A mighty concentration of force. This is a disaster for white. The rook's attacking g2 and b2. Yusupov's completely lost his nerve. The position swung around completely in the last couple of moves. This is a disaster. You see that, yes? So the bishop
Yes.
on b2's attacked.
Absolutely.
Pawn on g2's attacked.
That's the problem. The bishop on b2 I can live without. The pawn on g2 I cannot.
And this is desperation, knight e4. Absolute desperation. Rook takes bishop, knight check. Tal's not going to be bamboozled by this.
Well, let's see. Bishop f6, queen g6.
And he just moves the king. He's moved the king. And now
King
he's threatening
H8.
rook takes g2 check again.
Yes.
Apart from the fact that he's a rook up. And this is absolute desperation, just trying to block the diagonal.
Yes. This game is over as well.
Bishop takes, of course, knight takes, queen up. Now black is a rook ahead. A
And
rook on the 7th.
with Tal having 39.
37 seconds to 27 seconds.
Yes.
Yes.
Whoops.
Check, back.
Bishop e5
Resigns.
check.
Yes.
Resigns.
So, there were two players leading 2-0. Vaganyan is blanking Wilder, and Tal is blanking Yusupov.
Yes.
And each player now needs another half point to clinch these first two quarter-final matches.
Going into the third game, Tal and Vaganian only need to draw to ensure their immediate qualification to the semifinals.
So far, the Wilder-Vaganyan match has been an extremely one-sided affair. I hope that Michael makes it.
It's very hard to play when you've lost the first two games.
Yes.
Vaganyan is clearly playing with a certain élan. Well, he hasn't taken. He's just increasing the pressure. This is now looking terrible because he can't take on a6 with the rook anymore. And if he takes with the pawn, then white's bishop on g2 swoops down, captures on c6 and wins the house.
Yes.
So this is looking absolutely disgusting.
Yes.
The whole thing is collapsing around his ears.
So with that game soon to be over, I see that Tal Yusupov is heading more and more towards Tal's favor.
Yes, he has the advantage everywhere.
Yes.
He has an advantage in the centre where he's got a big grip on black ever playing d5. He's got the advantage on the queen side where he controls the c5 and b6 squares. And if he wants to, he's even got the advantage on the king side. Rook over to d1, pressing against the d7 pawn.
I think you're trying to tell me that Tal has an advantage.
Yeah. And he can even transfer a rook across the third rank and play something like rook d3 to g3 or rook f3 to g3.
There we have it. Michael Wilder is resigned.
He's resigned. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Disgusting position.
Very one-sided match. Very impressive performance by Rafael Vaganyan.
So Vaganyan has blanked Wilder 3-0.
Yes, indeed. Right now, also there's a positional idea for Tal simply to play knight b6.
Ah, now hang on, there's a tactic coming now. Where's he going to put the rook? He can't put the rook on d7 because of knight c5.
Right.
And if he allows bishop c7, he loses the d pawn, so he must play rook c8. And now bishop a7. Oh dear. Rook a8 forced. Bishop back to e3, threatening knight b6.
I might have tried bishop f2, much
Yes,
as you
I thought- yes.
suggested, gaining a tempo over a line you had recommended. And
Bishop takes, rook takes.
that d pawn looks like it could run home,
Knight c5, attacking the bishop.
and threatening knight d7.
Yes. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
He's touched his queen.
Queen, must play queen g5. Now it's over, absolutely over. And
Knight takes b7.
there goes a piece.
Oops.
This must be resigned very soon by black.
Yes, and with no time to boot, 27
Yes.
and 26 seconds.
The e-pawn, the last hope, but it's not going to go anywhere. It's gone.
So, I do believe that Yusupov is blank 3-0 as well.
Yes, this is it. Tal just mopping up now.
Well, on paper, these matches were certainly not as one-sided as they've suddenly become.
Playing with the wrists here, not just the brain.
Yes.
Moves instantaneously. 9 seconds left for Yusupov, 1:26 for Tal. Check. Pawn queening. What is Yusupov hoping for? Rook and a knight down. Tal just giving back the knight to make things simpler. Yes, it's over. 3-0 to Mikhail Tal.
Very
Fantastic
impressive.
performance.
So, in the first half of the quarterfinals, Tal and Vaganian are winners. They qualify for the semifinals. Some of the favorites in the Blitz tournament were knocked out in earlier rounds. The U.S. Grandmaster Yasser Sarouan, who supports tournament play of this usually recreational fast-paced chess, was the first to be defeated. It was a devastating blow for Sarouan.
In my case, it was easily the most disappointing moment in my entire chess career. I've had lots of ups and downs, but I don't think of myself as a boastful person, and yet I do boast about my Blitz ability because I, quite frankly, consider myself the best in the world, period.
Canada's Kevin Spraggett is also knocked out in the early rounds. He loses 3-0 to Artur Yusupov.
It was only 3 games. Let's see, we were both playing bad. I could tell that he was visibly nervous, but he made big blunders, but I made bigger blunders.
Right. But you're playing him in the quarterfinal anyway, aren't you?
Yes.
So this is your chance for revenge.
Yes, well, I'd like the match to be 1-1, but he's such a nice guy that I don't mind at all losing to him.
There are more surprises in the second round. The English Grandmaster Jonathan Spielman loses to Michael Wilder. Wilder qualified for the World Blitz Championship by winning the U.S. Blitz Championship. In the four-game series, it's tied 1.5 to 1.5. Wilder goes on to win it, 2.5 to 1.5. Spielman is known for his broad chess style and his adaptability to many types of games. He may be the first Englishman to reach the semifinals of the World Chess Championships. He and countryman Nigel Short both qualified for the quarterfinals in the candidates' matches. They'll be playing each other when the candidates meet again. This guarantees an English presence in the semifinals. By the second round, it's easy to see that the speed of Blitz chess is putting the pressure on even the world's best player. In his match against Maxim Delugi, Garry Kasparov is struggling. Delugi manages to keep drawing games, forcing Kasparov into 2 sudden death playoffs.
Yeah, so in this first game against him, you didn't just beat him, you completely creamed him. What did you think of the opening?
First of all, I was surprised a little bit by the opening, but then I surprised him on move 3, and he sank into thought for maybe half a minute, which is very unusual for him in the opening, especially in the Blitz game.
So you were ahead on the clock right from the start, is that right?
Yeah, I was about a minute ahead all the way through. It was a very complicated game until a point, although I was pressing all the way through. And at one point, he had to lose material, at which point I thought I should win the game. but from that moment on, it took a lot of good technique and kind of steady nerves.
Although it was a struggle and Dlugi put up a good fight, Kasparov manages to win the 6-game match 3.5 to 2.5, and he goes on to the Blitz quarterfinals. In the Karpov-Chernin game, it's tied 1-1 after 2 games. The third game is a draw, tying the score again at 1.5, 1.5. But in the fourth game, another favorite in the Blitz tournament, Anatoly Karpov, is knocked out.
This Blitz tournament was very exciting. Maybe the quality of chess wasn't so high, and I don't know why. Maybe the formula is not so good for the quality of chess, because short matches, eliminating, it gives a lot of pressure, and you cannot allow yourself to have risk in the game.
We'll be right back with more of the World Blitz Championships. The World Blitz Championship is being held in conjunction with the month-long World Chess Festival in St. John, New Brunswick. St. John, nicknamed the greatest little city in the East, is famous for its hospitality. The city has a deep sense of history. With the arrival of the United Empire Loyalists in 1783, St. John's shipbuilding and manufacturing soon flourished. Today, it is a major industrial center in Atlantic Canada and a leading international port. St. John is situated on the Bay of Fundy on Canada's east coast, 700 miles north of New York City. The Bay of Fundy has the highest tides in the world. As the tides rise above the level of the St. John River, they create the world-famous reversing falls. The province of New Brunswick is rich in natural resources. Over the years, it has developed industries like fishing and forestry. And exploring outside the city, tourists can visit small fishing villages like St. Andrews by the Sea. A small group of chess players from New Brunswick came up with the idea of the World Chess Festival, the first event of its kind where all the candidates in the playoffs for the World Championship meet and play in the same city at the same time. The festival is being called the strongest event in chess history in North America in the past 20 years. It's also given St. John an opportunity to show its talent for hosting a world-class event. The fast-paced Blitz Championship is being held in the final 2 days of the World Chess Festival. It's drawing large crowds. Even with the favorites like Sarawan and Karpov out of the running, between 500 and 700 people are in Market Square Convention Center to see who will win the $50,000 first prize. In the second half of the quarterfinals, the Elvest and Chernin match is played at the same time as Kasparov and Georgiev. Chernin is the favorite in his match after knocking out Anatoly Karpov in the second round.
Chernin shocked the audience yesterday with a victory over Karpov, and Elvis is a relatively unknown quantity himself.
It looks like Elvest is making a comeback in the third game, and he ties it 2-2 in the fourth. In the fifth game, sudden death playoff, he loses to Chernin. Now all eyes turn to the Kasparov-Georgiev match being played at the same time.
Kasparov-Georgiev on paper looks a complete mismatch.
Well, Georgiev, the young Bulgarian, a former junior world champion, I believe,
Yes.
is a tough nut to crack. Gary Kasparov had tremendous trouble with Max Delugi yesterday,
Yes.
and only won after an extended playoff.
I myself have watched Georgiev play Blitz, and I wasn't so impressed. Perhaps he's hit form here. Georgiev has played extremely
Yes,
well.
he's got the pawn back. What's the situation with this wrong-coloured rook's pawn? Is there any?
I don't think there's any hope because I don't believe that Georgiev is going to get his king into the corner.
No.
It's simply over.
Yes, he can't get his king across.
There we
No,
have it.
that's it. Yes.
Now it's just simply a question of a queen. Whether or not he'll have enough time to mate. Stalemate!
No, really?
Oh my god.
No.
Unbelievable error by Garry Kasparov.
That's incredible. He's shaking his head in disbelief. How could he do that?
The simple move queen d4 to b4 would have been mate in one.
I can't believe it.
Unbelievable. World champion makes an elementary error placing his opponent in stalemate. A stalemate is when an opponent has no legal moves and cannot be forced to move his king in check. So the game is now
Both
a
games
draw.
drawn. Both games drawn.
Unbelievable.
Yes, that's going to go into the history books. Kasparov, a queen and a bishop up, walking into a stalemate trap. That's incredible.
Kasparov seems thrown by the first game and is in trouble right from the beginning of the second.
My
Gary's-
God, Gary's
time difference.
a full minute and a half behind on the clock.
Georgiev moves very quickly.
Yes.
I mean, Gary doesn't move so fast in 5-minute chess. He does quite a lot of thinking. And this is an interesting move. He's straightening out White's pawn structure.
Yes.
Yes, he's simply straightened the White pawn structure out. And the position is now rather level. But of course, in 5-minute chess, that counts for nothing.
Right.
You actually have to develop some sort of initiative.
Yes.
What is happening?
Gary is in big trouble.
He's made a complete mess of this. He's losing.
Not. Yes, he's losing. You're right. Kasparov is going to lose this game.
Yes.
9 seconds. 5 seconds. 4 seconds.
Yes, he's had it. His rook's attacked and the White pawn's queening. Gary's going to lose. Yes, he's one down.
In the third game, Georgiev starts feeling the pressure. He misses a move which could win the match.
So, Yasser, Kasparov in the position he's been in so many times before in his life, having to win the last game just to stay alive.
Were Georgiev to win this match, of course, the tournament would be wide open then, and Tal suddenly begins to emerge as a clear favorite, in my view.
Yes, I was rather hoping after Karpov was kicked out yesterday for a Tal-Kasparov finale. But maybe it's going to be a Tal-Georgiev finale.
If this keeps up.
Yes.
Georgiev is putting the pressure on Kasparov. Will Kasparov make it to the semifinals? We'll find out right after this. It does not look good for the world champion Garry Kasparov. Georgiev is not backing down.
This match is over, in my opinion, Ray.
Yes.
I think that Kasparov is groveling
Yes.
for a plan. Are you in accord?
Yes, I don't see what he can do.
Knight g5.
Yes,
If you play bishop a2, I can even entertain rook a7.
yes.
I say entertain, I don't commit myself.
Well, it looks fine.
How about rook b... Yes,
As
rook
he's
a7.
played it.
Oh, Gary. Oh, my God, we're seeing a tremendous
C2.
upset.
But what can he do? Nothing. And also, what's the time situation? He's only got 45 seconds left. Knight e4, bishop f8. God.
King g7,
This
expected.
is a desperate sort of move.
Well, I mean,
Rook a7 again. There's
Yeah,
nothing,
I mean,
nothing he can do. Bishop c5, rook b7, bishop f8, rook a7, bishop b3.
rook b7. I mean, this is nothing. Oh, yes, knight
Oh,
f7.
he's better again. He's winning.
Yes, the match is over. The match is over. I
Yes.
mean, this bishop opposite color position is
It's completely.
absolutely dead. Bishop c4 ends the match.
Yes, there's nothing he can do at all.
Oh my. He still has to be careful about the b pawn.
And White has so much more time.
f4. I think that was a wise decision.
And now he can just take the b3.
No, there's
Check.
suddenly check and b2.
Uh-huh. But
Oh,
Gar-
what's bishop g8? He's played
G5.
it. It's mate. Bishop h7 mate.
Mate, yes.
Kasparov is gone.
Yes.
Kasparov has been eliminated. Georgiev
Has won.
has won.
Kasparov is out of the competition. Tal, Chernin, Georgiev, and Berganian all advance to the semifinals. The first to play the best-of-4 games are Chernin and Tal.
Right, so this is the first game. Tal playing white against Chernin in the first of the semi-finals.
Chernin still is relying upon his Perk's defense. Tal has played the bishop b5 check and captures on d7.
Yes.
This is a variation I rather like for white myself. One of the problems with black playing an early c5 has been this.
Interesting move. White can't take the pawn because of queen a5 check, driving the knight back, and then bishop takes c3 check.
I think that this is a good idea for white to take that pawn.
You think he should take it?
I think he should.
Well, he hasn't.
He hasn't. The idea is to provoke that bishop exchange for that knight.
Yes.
And that bishop on g7 can be a monster in the position. Yes. Better to exchange it.
I think Tal's going to feed his pieces over to the king side here. I like the way Tal centralises his pieces. It always pieces in efficient squares. And if I may now draw a comparison, an odious comparison between Tal's conduct of the games in this Blitz championship and the play of Garry Kasparov. And Kasparov was eliminated, as we know, in the quarter-final. And so often he was going for small edges and playing as if his opponent was Karpov.
Yes.
But of course, it's not. Nobody else plays like Karpov. And Tal has a much different approach. He's playing aggressively. He's going for the king. He's playing in a very free and easy style. And that's what Kasparov should have been doing.
I concur. Tal had a very interesting possibility on his last move. He could have taken once on g6, provoked hg, and I think he should do it, and then just simply pop in knight f5.
Yes, I think he will.
He
probably will do this.
This is quite vicious.
Yes, he's done it. Good old Tal. Just the kind of thing we like to see from Tal.
Absolutely. I mean, black's king is just a sitting duck.
We're meant to be impartial, yes, but I can't help saying that I'd like to see Tal win this game. This is a marvellous cavalier attack by Tal.
They each win one game. It's tied going into the third round. In the third round, Chernin is in trouble.
I still don't see how he's going to answer h4. You play g5, you're just opening up that beautiful bishop on b1.
He can't possibly do that.
On the other hand, I don't really like to live with the move g4, g5 coming. This is terrible game by Chernin. My God, I mean, this is the Passivity of the Year award. All fours in the year.
No, he's going to lose his queen now, surely. That's it. Hasn't he lost his queen?
Good God, rook d8. What a horrible move.
And where's his queen going? Yeah, it's going to d4. This is just junk, absolute junk. He's lost his queen for a rook.
And it's mate
and
one.
It's mate, yes. This is unbelievably... Well, he can play knight f8, I suppose, and roll around for a... No, he must have stopped. Resigns. What an appalling game by Chernin.
Chernin loses. Tal is leading 2-1 going into game 4. All he needs now is a draw.
Using his king at all.
No.
And then it's firing off moves at machine gun-like speed.
Bishop c2.
Hesitation. This is going to be absolutely fatal. Let's keep an eye on the clocks as well, because
36 seconds.
This could be decided on time. It could go either way.
Oh my God, he can't take the...
He has the wrong coloured rook's pawn.
Precisely right.
What?
Oh.
Watch the clocks, because someone's flag is going to fall in this.
Well...
Knocking the pieces over, this is getting quite chaotic.
We have 42 seconds to 9 seconds for Chernin. It looks like Tal is going to win the match by virtue of the fact that Chernin won't physically be able to make all the moves.
No, I think he still has enough time. He's taking the pawn now. He's really winning.
Yeah, but are you going to win?
White is really winning this.
Yes, but I mean the point is that if Black can sacrifice his bishop for that pawn,
yes, he'll have bishop and knight, and it just. But then, and we can see those two. Yes, flag's fallen. Chernin's flag has fallen. Chernin's flag has fallen.
The game ends in a draw. The Tal advances 2.5, 1.5.
In the second half of the semi-final, Georgiev, who managed to knock out the world champion Garry Kasparov, is playing Rafael Vaganian, known for using the French defense in tournament play.
So who do you favour, Yasser, in this game? Or in this match, let's say in the match?
I should say that since the semi-finalists were known, I have favored both Tal and Vaganian. I'm afraid we will see an all-Soviet final.
I don't know. I rather favour Georgiev in this match. I think it's a question of a fight between flair and solidity, and dogged solidity.
Well, in 5-minute chess,
Hang on, what's going on?
flair.
Is there some tactical possibility here with knight g5? No? Doesn't work? Yes, he's played it. Threatening mate on h7. He must take that off, and then bishop takes b7. Hitting the rook on a8. Rook moves.
Well, that was awful by Vaganian.
Now he just plays knight e4. You see, this is it. Knight takes g5, threatening mate. And there goes a piece. I'm afraid solidity has outdone flair in this game. The game's over.
Game 2 starts out as a good tactical model of play, but ends in a dispute. The way the dispute is settled makes chess history.
We'll just enjoy his technical mastery, which we haven't thus far enjoyed, as he's certainly not doing a very good job at all.
Yes, it's so often the case in these games that somebody establishes a completely winning position, and then the final part of the game is just sheer butchery.
Oh my
no,
God!
I don't believe it. Vaganian left his king on freeze. And he's mumbling something. He doesn't seem very happy.
White made an illegal move.
Vaganian is very angry with himself, and he's complaining that perhaps Georgiev either pressed the clock, or Vaganian seems to be claiming that since he hadn't pressed his clock, he should not yet have lost that game, and now perhaps his claim is valid.
Yes, well, there has to be an arbiter's decision here about this.
The move was made too quickly for the arbiter. The decision is made to replay the videotape of the game. In an ending with Vaganian 2 pawns ahead in a simply won rook and pawn endgame, he made a move which allowed his king to be taken by Georgiev's rook. However, Vaganian did not punch the clock, which means he could have taken the move back and still made a legal move. Unfortunately, Georgiev jumped the gun and took Vaganian's king. The arbiter's decision is to allow Vaganian to take the move back. It gave him the momentum to go on and win the game. After 4 games, it's tied 2-2. The match goes into sudden death. Then it's another draw and another sudden death.
So far, it's been a very even contest. I thought that several times in the match that Vaganyan had the match wrapped up, but of
He
course...
then untied it again.
Ah,
Yes.
very well played by Vaganyan, in fact. Well, this is terrible. I mean, what we're seeing is Vaganyan is being pressed for time. He has 44
Yes,
seconds.
and this is a travesty. It should be stopped, and the arbiter should declare this a draw.
Yes.
This is ludicrous. Is there really no provision in the rules to stop a game like this?
Not to my knowledge.
It's tied again. The 7th game is a draw by stalemate. Now it's game 8.
Something tells me that this feeding frenzy that Vaganyan is having could easily go against him.
But what was the point of F4?
In order that when he played knight h2 check to drive White's king to the E line.
Yes, the E file wasn't available. There's some funny stuff happening here.
I believe Vaganyan is completely winning the position.
Again.
F4
was a strange move.
Well, the point is Black's queen is going to be driven from the square, from the diagonal, h1, which in fact has occurred already.
Well, don't speak too soon, because
Queen
this is
h3
Queen
is
h3
met.
mate. Knight takes h4 check, of course.
But there's no perpetual check, in my opinion. Just take it, king back.
No, he's not got anything.
And Black
Vaganyan is finally going to win. He's a rook up.
Black is staring at...
Yes. All he can do is stop White from mating him on f7.
Precisely.
At long last, Vaganyan finally has a winning position.
Well,
Nothing to do.
Vaganyan is going to run his king to the queen side, after which he'll be comfortably ensconced, and the game is over. Queen captures b6.
No, bishop e5 is good, but it defends f4.
Yes, this is a consolidating move. A very strong consolidating
It leaves the
move.
pawn on f2 with check, but that doesn't matter.
Still, a player like myself would have preferred immediately getting my king out of danger. King c1.
He's played king c2.
Which is fine. King b1. And now...
That's it.
White threatens horrible things like queen b6 and things. This is over.
This is a nice king run by Vaganyan, but he is a rook up, and after all, he should be able to win the game.
And with 2 minutes and 14 seconds for...
More time, in fact, than Georgiev has.
The match is over. Vaganyan is winning very easily. Queen e6 is a horrid threat. Queen b6 is a horrible threat. And in fact...
Queen takes b6. Why doesn't he play queen takes b6? It's been on for so long. He's
He
played
has.
it.
And I just back.
Queen b3. Queen back to e7.
Yes, just developing our extra rook, I might add. And now queen b8 check and resignation. No, he doesn't resign. But he can.
Everything is dropping off here. Bishop takes check.
Knight takes
Everything. Knight takes
check.
e8 check. Everything. Queens, rooks, knights. He must resign. Not even the most hardened optimist is going to carry on here.
Amazingly enough.
No, he's resigned. Vaganyan's
There you
gone
have it.
through. Yeah, so this is chess really making a breakthrough as a genuine spectator sport, an entire tournament played over 2 days with an average of 500 to 700 people watching.
The semi-finals end with Tal and Vaganian making it an all-Soviet match. We'll be back with the final right after this. And so it's Mikhail Tal, the 52-year-old journalist and former world chess champion, versus Rafael Vaganian. Both are favorites with the chess fans.
Who's your favorite in the
I would
match?
love to see Tal win. And he's such a fantastic player. He's been one of my heroes since I was a kid.
Yes.
And I would just dearly love to see him become the world Blitz champion. I think it's a fitting accolade to his great career, and I'd love to see him win the $50,000. I think that Tal missed a lot of the boom in the big prizes in match chess. He was champion in the 1960s, early 1960s, and he missed the sudden explosion that came with Fischer and thereafter, and Kasparov and Karpov.
In the final, the match is the best of 6 games instead of 4.
It makes sense for Tal to play 1e4.
Precisely. And on the other hand, Vaganian is this kind of one-dimensional player with the white pieces, so the edge in the opening analyses to Tal there. But what does make Vaganian an extraordinarily successful player is he brings a great deal of originality and creativity to his games, and he has a very quick sight of the board tactically. I think both of these players are in fact tactically extraordinarily gifted, and we'll be seeing a battle of strengths.
In the first game, Tal opens with e4 as predicted. Eventually, Vaganian runs into trouble.
And then Tal, now something's gone wrong here.
Yes.
Because Vaganian's consolidated his position.
Like I said, I'm very dissatisfied with what White's queen has been doing, and that was why...
So's he. He's moving the queen. It's attacked. It's gone back again. This isn't very nice. Tal's lost the thread of the game.
Completely. Not to say that he's destroyed his position, because he certainly hasn't, but he's just not done anything with it.
No, I don't think he's not. I don't think he's better anymore. In fact, he may be slightly worse because Black's queenside pawns have become mobile.
Well, if I were White, I would still be satisfied. I take pride in the fact that my majority is a little bit more mobile than Black's, and consider a future G2, G3 move. Although here I can't play it because of knight d4 with a fork against c2 and f3.
And he has to watch out now. Black's knight coming to g5 if he's not careful.
Yes, this was an excellent move by Tal, unless c2 is hanging. I thought that knight g3 blocking Black on the g line was a good idea, but I forgot about the c2 square.
Yes, he's taken on c2, takes on f8, queen takes.
Rook e4, perhaps. I was a little surprised. I think that Tal made a mistake with his last move, rook
Yes.
f8. Rook e4, queen c check, queen c1 check could have been answered by knight f1.
So what's the time situation? It looks as if Vaganian's got less than a minute. Tal has just over a minute.
In fact,
Vaganian's won a pawn and Tal's pieces are bunched in the corner. And things are not looking good for Tal on the board.
on the board, things are looking bad.
Bad, very
On
bad.
the clock,
Up.
the game is over. Vaganian has 19 seconds. Make that 17, 16. It's very unlikely that Vaganian could make all
Now
of
Tal
his
must
moves.
bring his queen in. Bring in the queen. Oh, this is getting very dangerous. Vaganian's pieces have wandered off centre. White's bringing every piece up. Check. Queening, threatening, discovered, check.
Yes, Tal is going to win this game on the clock. I don't think, looking at Vaganian's flag, it's just...
Well, they both have attacks now. What on earth is happening? Queen c5 check. Is that
This just
possible?
came out of the blue. If Tal doesn't get mated in the next
Discovered.
few seconds,
Or it could be perpetual
yes, there's the flag. Immediately, the arbiter must call the flag.
Yes.
Tal wins.
Tal wins, but the position looks like a draw now with perpetual check.
Yes.
Tal wins the next 2 games. It's 3-0 going into game 4.
Boy, the wonderful thing about watching Tal play chess is his ability to play so many different systems. I mean, it's like you're not going to, if you're going to bust him in one area, that's fine. He'll just find some other system that he can fall back on, and he just plays so many things.
So here we have a kind of English, King's Indian.
Right. Is this anything at all for...
Tal sacking a pawn. Very interesting.
Well, this is a major theoretical dispute.
Vaganyan looks a little bit puzzled by it.
He should be aware of it, being a...
He hasn't taken the pawn.
No. Being a big Ready and Catalan player, I mean, I'm sure he's seen just about everything, had just about everything thrown against him. Still, being 3-0 down, you think that you might want to take something. Well, it will be Vaganyan's intention to just kind of claim the whole board with an eventual e2, e4, or even an e2, e3. Very difficult for Tal to create counter chances.
Well,
Right.
he's going to play b5.
Precisely, that's his major aim at the moment, b7, b5. Probably knight d5 is in order for white here, so as to be able to recapture it eventually on d5 with a pawn, thereby cramping black's game a bit. a2, a4 just doesn't inspire. And he allows b5. An interesting, if somewhat unusual decision by Vagan.
Tal's played it, and he's going to take back on c4 with the knight, obviously.
Again, here we're seeing a little bit of Vaganyan's originality and creativity at last. Typical of Vaganyan to come up with a very unusual strategical concept
I
so
like his
quickly.
position. I like his position.
Yes.
Because Black can't really attack him in any way. It's a kind of impervious position. Black can't move any pawns.
Yes, well, on the other hand, Black's pawn structure is quite sound, so all he really needs to do is exchange a bit of pieces and get some wood off the board, and life should be pleasant once endgames come around. I'm not so sure knight a5 was the correct way of getting rid of this knight on c4.
Vaganyan should develop some rooks.
This gives Tal an
Knight
opportunity.
a5 is a funny move as well.
Yes, this gives Tal an opportunity to get rid of 2 pieces for a rook and 2 pawns. Always a double-edged affair, and especially in blitz chess, but I might be tempted just to take that.
Just to clear off some problems.
Yes, and to set up a pawn barrier e6 and d5.
Well, he hasn't done it. He's moved his queen out.
Righto. Also not bad.
This is the same kind of position that Garry Kasparov had in one of his games with Georgiev. It's very hard for Black to get counterplay in this kind of position.
Yes. Rook c2, an interesting move, preparing to double rooks on the c line and eventually play knight a4.
I wonder if Tal's ever thinking about playing bishop h6 in a position like this. Just to annoy White a little bit, and perhaps provoke the move f4.
That would be more than annoying, in fact.
Now he's done it. Now he's done it.
Yes.
He's made the sacrifice.
I'm not so sure it works, because it looks to me that there's going to be a knight d5 in the position. Right about now, in fact.
Yes, now.
And there's this sudden, enormous problem on c8. Well, the game is over. Tal's completely lost. Queen takes c2.
c2.
And you're a piece down.
For nothing.
And being attacked, I might add.
Yes, this is hopeless.
Let's look at the time. A quick time check tells us that Vaganyan has plenty of time, in fact.
Yes, he's just
Piece up.
just a piece up for nothing, yes.
2 pawns, but that a pawn is a very scraggly looking thing. A problem child. Bishop a3. No.
Now he's taken on g7. Now take on b1. Take back, king takes. And now it's the normal problem in a blitz game where somebody wins material. He's actually got to try and win the game. It's so difficult to do this.
But this was very silly for Vaganyan to trade bishops. I would have played bishop a3 and eliminated that knight on d5.
It wasn't such a great idea to trade queens either. So often we see these endings where it's difficult to win.
Yes.
And now Tal is going to play something like d5 and king d6. It's a solid position.
Yes. Well, still knight a4 by white should certainly eventually win the game. Knight a4 better be played soon, otherwise it's going to be a dead draw.
Yes. And he won't. Yes, he'll move the knight. No. Oh, what? Was he? Oh.
That was what we call a hand check. Should be 7. Must admit, Vaganyan's play thus far in this, what is in reality a technical win, has not been very.
Tull's job is to trade pawns like crazy, because at the end of the day, white's got the wrong coloured H pawn.
And of course, this a pawn for black is still on the board.
Check. Tull must trade pawns on the king side somehow. The more pawns he can trade, the better his drawing chances. F5, yes?
Yes, I think this was a good move by Vaganyan nonetheless to provoke f5. But I don't understand why he didn't go back with a knight to prevent...
Bishop f7 I find meaningless.
Yes. What?
Now he's trading
that.
pawns. Well, at least he hasn't got the wrong coloured H pawn anymore. He's got rid of it. And Tull's knight comes back in the game. White having 2 pieces against 1. Black 2 pawns in compensation. And Tull...
It's shocking how ineffectual Vaganyan's extra piece
Check again.
has been thus far.
Out comes the knight again.
King d3. And again, a head check by Vaganyan on his time reveals that he has a minute and a half. My God,
Trading
he
another pawn.
continues to exchange pawns.
But at least he's fixed a black pawn in f5 as a weakness. It's difficult. Huh? No, he's
What was that?
Bishop was going to g8 and then moved to h5.
I don't
Check.
understand why it was necessary to move to h5.
Attacking the f4 pawn.
Bishop f7.
Out again.
How about King d4 sometimes?
Now he's pushing... Yeah. This is very interesting, that Tull has now two pawns, 2 passed pawns on the wings. And time about level. Both just over a minute.
I'd recommend knight c3,
Yes.
which
Tull
has been accepted.
bringing his knight out. Staying in
f5,
touch with the
check.
f4 pawn. Oh, now Tull pushes the a pawn. Check. He's winning the pawn on f5, perhaps. Yes, but he's not got to cope with the pawn on a3.
Oh my God.
How's he going to stop that? How is he going to stop it?
Unbelievable.
How does he stop it? How does the knight get back?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. He may as well offer a draw here. At least salvage something.
Tull has just been amazing.
Atrocious technique by Vaganyan. He's resigned.
The crowd going wild, absolute jubilation. Mikhail Tal, a popular winner, to put it very, very mildly indeed. Tal, World Blitz champion.
I wish to present to him this medallion, the winner today of the World Blitz champion in St. John, New Brunswick. To a gentleman who has come second, a check for $10,000 to Raphael Vagan.
And so it's done. Raphael Vaganian loses to Mikhail Tal, Misha as they call him, the granddad of the Grandmasters. He has won the World Blitz Championship. For Raymond Keene and Yasu Sarawan, I'm Dave Reynolds. Goodbye from St. John, New Brunswick.